This is Black Wall Street Chronicles, and we're back at it again. Today we're going to do a show that's based on the young man that has been killed 2 months ago. Before we get to it, I'd like to make some church announcements. First off, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do podcast episodes lately. It's the minute of the COVID-19 epidemic, and I'm in my house, and I'm an essential worker, and everything is closed down, and I don't have the time to go to the podcast studio and actually do the podcast. So, excuse the noise and the outside. I'm quarantining with my mom. So, let's get started. Let's get right to it. Just want to let everybody know that I'm thinking about starting a parody podcast. Basically, mocking and making fun of society and what's going on right now. We'll see. Excuse the noise in the background. Alright, let's get to it. Google.com, see if I get this name. Yes, the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery, a timeline of case that's gripping the nation. This is from Insider.com. Ahmaud Arbery, a 25-year-old black man, set out for a jog in Brunswick, Georgia, one afternoon in late February. He never made it home. Gregory Michael, 64, and his son Travis McMichael, 34, both whom are white, say they mistook Arbery for a burglary suspect. So they grabbed two guns, hopped into their pickup truck, and pursued him. Arbery was shot during the altercation with the pair and died of his wounds. He was buried 6 days later, but the men who killed him roamed free for more than 2 months. This incident was thrust into the national spotlight early May when a video filmed by a witness showing the gruesome footage of Arbery's final moments, which was uploaded to social media and shared widely. It has since led to the arrest of the McMichaels on felony murder and aggravated assault charges, being assigned to a 4th district attorney, and prompted widespread anger and calls for justice. Here's how the Arbery case unfolded. February 23rd, Ahmaud Arbery is gunned down in broad daylight. Gregory McMichael told the respondent, Officer Jane Bradbury, that he first noticed Arbery because he resembled a man accused of a string of residential bank-ins in the area, according to a Glenn County police report. But the Brunswick News found that only one burglary had been reported in the area from the start of 2020 to the day Arbery died. The sole item stolen was a gun from Travis McMichael's unlocked pickup truck. That didn't stop the men from grabbing their guns, a .357 Magnum and a shotgun, and following Arbery just after 1 p.m. after they intercepted him. Arbery got into a scuffle with Travis McMichael. The two men started fighting over the shotgun, at which point Travis fired a shot, and then a second later there was a second shot. The altercation was filmed by a witness, later identified as William Bryan. 3 shots were heard in the footage, with the last one fired point blank before Arbery stumbled and fell face down. Gregory McMichael, a former police officer and investigator with the Glynn County District Attorney's Office, told police he rolled the body over to check for a weapon. Arbery was unarmed, but Bradbury made a note of the blood on the senior McMichael's hands. February 23, 25. Jackie Johnson, the district attorney from the Bushwick Judicial Court, recuses herself from the Arbery case. Jackie Johnson told the Brunswick News that she emailed the state attorney general Chris Carr on February 20th, recusing herself from the Arbery case due to a conflict of interest. Gregory McMichael works as an investigator for our office until his retirement in May 2019. Spokesman for the office told Insider. Johnson asked Carr to transfer the case to another prosecutor. George Barnhill, the district attorney for the neighborhood White Cross Judicial Circuit, was tapped on February 27th, according to the Brunswick News. The information I had was there was a shooting involving Greg Michael and his son. Johnson told the local outlet, they seemed to be a self-defense issue and they did not know whether they could make an arrest. However, a timeline by Glynn County's Public Information Officer Matthew Kent relays events differently and says that Johnson's office learns of the investigation around 3 p.m. on February 23rd. The DA's office advised that there need to be further follow-up and the detectives will be contracted due the following day by the DA from the White Cross Judicial Circuit. The McMichaels were deemed not to be flight risks, and the officers was advised by the DA's office that no arrests were necessary at the time. Kent wrote, adding that Glynn County police detectives were in touch with George Barnhart, the district attorney for the neighboring Waycross Judicial Circuit, from February 24th. The controversy has prompted calls for Johnson's removal from office. April 2nd, Barnhill, the second DA to step aside, tells police there are no grounds for arrest. In a letter by the New York Times, Barnhill told Glynn County Police Captain Tom Jump that the Arbery's mother did not want him in charge of the case since his son worked for Johnson. She sees a conflict in my son works in a Brunswick District Attorney's office where Greg Michael retired some time ago, he wrote. She believes that there are kinship between the parties. There are not, and has made other unfounded allegations of biases. As such, I believe it is better for my office to step out, and I'm going to recuse myself and the assistants working for me from handling the case. After reviewing autopsy reports on April 1st, Barnhill told Jump that there were no grounds for an arrest. The McMichaels were following in hot pursuit a burglary suspect with solid first-hand probable cause in their neighborhood and asking and telling him to stop, he wrote. It appears their attempt was to stop and hold this criminal suspect until law enforcement arrived. Under Georgia law, this was perfectly legal. Barnhill's letter also said that Georgia's open carry law allowed them to be armed since neither is a convicted felon. They were also in a car registered to Travis McMichael. He derailed the altercation between Arbery and Travis McMichael, saying, given the fact that Arbery initiated the fight, at the point Arbery grabbed the shotgun, under Georgia law, McMichael was allowed to use deadly force to protect himself. According to Barnhill, there's also a question about who fired the fatal shot. While we know McMichael had his finger on the trigger, we do not know who caused the firings, he wrote. Barnhill's letter named the witness William Bryan as the person who filmed the videos of Arbery's killing and also refers to a conversation that he had with Glynn County Police on February 24th. Arbery, April 13th. Arbery's case lands in the hands of Tom Durden, a 3rd District Attorney. A statement issued by Durden on May 5th indicated that he was assigned the Arbery case on about April 13th, according to the Coastal Courier. He went on to write, "Have neither previous knowledge of the incident nor any relationship with any of the investigators or witnesses. I accept the appointment to review the case and take the action I thought it was reported." A defense attorney leaks a graphic video of Arbery's shooting death on social media. The New York Times reported on May 8th that a defense attorney who had consulted with McMichaels but will not be representing them leaked the video to a local radio station. It was then posted on social media May 5th, where it went viral. It wasn't two men with a Confederate flag in the back of a truck going down the road and shooting a jogger in the back, Allen told the newspaper. It got the truth out there as to what you could see. My purpose was not to exonerate them or convict them. When the video went public, Darden announced that he plans to present the Arbery case to a grand jury at the earliest available date once the coronavirus-related lockdown lifts, to let them decide if the charges need to be brought against the Michaels. The video spurred widespread outrage. May 6. Arbery's parents and attorney held a news conference decrying their child's death and pushing officials to arrest the McMichaels. Wanda Cooper Jones recalled the police telling her that her son was shot dead by a homeowner during a home burglary. It was only after his funeral that she came across a news article reporting that he was killed in the street, not in a home or a yard. First Coast News responded. So she began to look into the circumstances of his death. I don't think I've ever reached the mental capacity to ever watch the video. You know, I saw my son come into the world, and seeing him leave the world is not something I ever want to see, ever. Benjamin Crump, one of the family's attorneys, told Insider on Wednesday that the video looked like a hunting party. We have every right to expect an arrest immediately based on the ocular proof presented in that video of his execution. He added that if there were Arbery and his father who has pulled the trigger on a white jogger, they have been arrested on the spot. When we believe if this was any other citizen, especially a citizen of color, they would have been arrested because you have an unarmed man in a jogging attack, Crump said. He doesn't have any burglary outfit or burglary tools or anything like that. I mean, he's jogging, and when this guy kills him, and they just take his word for it. Support pours in the Arbery family with people demanding justice on Ahmaud's behalf. The supermodel Padma Lenski tweeted the Glenn County Police Department's phone number so people could demand that Gregory and Travis Michael be taken into custody. She joined a cacophony that included the voice of presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, NBA superstar LeBron James, talk show host Ellen DeGeneres, and the star of next week's Queer Eye, Jonathan Van Ness. A Change.org petition seeking justice for Ahmaud amassed hundreds of thousands of signatures. May 7th. Agents for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation arrest the McMichaels. Around 7:45 Thursday, news broke out that the GBI had taken Gregory and Travis McMichaels into custody. Both men faced federally and aggravated assault charges and were booked into the Glenn County Jail. May 8th, on what would have been Arbery's 26th birthday, supporters run 2.23 miles in recognition of the day that he died. Support for Arbery and anger at his death sparked the I Run With Ahmaud movement, with people running 2.23 miles to walk the day he was killed on his birthday. He was my baby boy that I actually had on Mother's Day of 1994, said his mother, Wanda Cooper Jones. He was the baby of the family, but that being said, Ahmaud is his sister and brother's keeper. Cooper Jones added his spirit was good. He was the yes ma'am and no ma'am type of fellow. GBI Director Vic Reynolds says probable cause was clear to our agents pretty quickly. At a news conference in May 8, the Bureau's Director Vic Reynolds said that there was a probable cause to charge the McMichaels with felony murder and aggravated assault. I can tell you that if we didn't believe it, we would have not arrested them, he said. If we believe it, then we're going to put the bracelets on them. And that's exactly what we did yesterday evening. He outlined that the GBI was brought in late on May 5th by Durden and within 36 hours felt confident in seeking arrest warrants for the McMichaels before nabbing them. Reynolds said that while the police in Glynn County had gotten the investigation to a good point, the GBI produced additional leads. We canvassed the neighborhood and interviewed more people, some for the first time. Asked whether other arrests were pending, Reynolds said the investigation was active and ongoing. Reynolds described the video of Arbery shooting as a very important piece of evidence. The Bureau is investigating everybody involved with the case, including the individual who shot the video. As well how it was leaked, he said. Georgia doesn't have a hate crime statute, so the crime can't be prosecuted as such, even though Marcus Arbery Sr., the victim's father, characterized it as much. It was a hate crime. Marcus Arbery Sr. told Folks Coast News, my young son wasn't doing nothing, minding his own business, running and working out, and that's a crime? To work out and run, he ain't breaking no law. No, time out. May 8th, the two Glynn County commissioners accused D.A. Johnson of obstructing relax, and she fires back. Two Glynn County commissioners, Alan Broker and Peter Murphy, accused District Attorney Jackie Johnson on May 8th of preventing police from arresting the McMichaels. The police on the scene went to her, saying that we were ready to arrest both of them. There were police at the scene who had done the investigation. Booker told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution she shut them down to protect their friend. Murphy added they were told not to make the arrest, but Johnson denied the baseless and falseless claims. She flatly denied having conversations with the police about the Arbery case, instead of alleging that this was an attempt to make excuses and ignore the problems at the Glynn County Police Department, for which they are ultimately responsible. Georgia's Attorney General taps the DOJ and the GBI to probe the handling of the Arbery case. Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr announced on Sunday that he had asked the Department of Justice to conduct a complete and transparent review of how the Ahmaud Arbery case was handled from the outset, Chronicles reported. On a particular interest are these ways Johnson, Barnhill, and the Glynn County Police Department responded to the fatal shooting. The DOJ is reporting considering pursuing federal hate crime charges. The state of Georgia has no hate crime laws. In a release on Monday, GBI shared that Carr has asked the agent to investigate possible prosecutorial misconduct by the officers of Johnson and Barnhill. A 4th District Attorney is pulled into this closely watched case. Esley Merritt, one of the family's attorneys, said on Monday that a new prosecutor, Cobb County District Attorney Juliette Holmes, has been assigned to Arbery's case at the family's request, First Coast News reported. On Twitter, Merritt alleged that the Atlanta Judicial Circuit District Attorney Durden sat on the case until the video of Ahmaud's murder was leaked. So Holmes represents a huge win in the family's pursuit for answers. She is currently being vetted for conflicts of interest, Merritt said. Later the same day, Carr told NBC News that the video of Arbery's shooting left him shunned and sickened. When you see things like that, the first thing I thought was, that's not my Georgia, he said. That's not who we are. It is important for us to find out what happened and make sure justice is done. An autopsy reveals that 2 gunshot blasts to the chest kills Arbery. 2 shotgun wounds to the chest killed Arbery, according to an autopsy released Monday by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's forensic decision. He sustained fatal injuries to the upper and lower chest, as well as a bullet also grazed his right wrist in his struggle to lift the Travis McMichael for the shotgun, said the report, according to CNN affiliate WSB. This 25-year-old died of multiple gunshot wounds sustained during a struggle for the shotgun. The report, dated April 1st, reads, Arbery had no alcohol or drugs in his system at the time of death, the report said. So, that is the timeline of Ahmaud Arbery's case. Seems to be a lot of colluding and conflict of interest within the police department in that small town. This is actually very sad. I'm going to read a couple of more articles. Articles from ABC News. Father and son charged with murder of unarmed black man Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. Two men have been arrested and charged with the murder of aggravated assault for the February shooting of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the GBI. Gregory McMichael, 64, and his son Travis McMichael, 34, were arrested on Thursday evening and were booked into the Glenn County Jail. Based on our involvement in this case, within 36 hours we've secured warrants that speak volumes for ourselves to the probable cause in the case, said GBI's Director Vic Reynolds at a press conference on Friday morning. Cell phone video showing the moment that Arbery was killed has prompted national outrage since surfacing online Tuesday afternoon, but his mother said that she cannot bring herself to watch it. I don't think I'll ever be in a mental state where I can watch the video, and others that have watched it is that shared what they saw, and that was just enough. Wanda Cooper Jones told ABC News in an interview that aired Thursday on Good Morning America. In the 28-second video, Arbery, who is black, can be seen jogging around the neighborhood just outside the port city of Brunswick on a sunny afternoon on February 23rd. The footage ends with 3 loud gunshots. Gregory McMichael and Travis McMichael, who are both white, told the police they grabbed their guns and hopped in the trunk to pursue Arbery after seeing him running in their neighborhood, because they believe he was responsible for several recent burglaries. The father claimed his son got out of the truck holding the shotgun and was attacked by Arbery, according to the police report obtained by ABC News. The two men tussled over the firearm before Arbery was shot, and was seen in a cell phone video which was allegedly taken by a bystander. 2 prosecutors rescued themselves from investigating Arbery's murder, citing conflicts on interest since Gregory McMichael is a retired Glenn County police officer and investigator with Brunswick's District Attorney's Office. Tom Durden, the District Attorney for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit, was assigned the case in the middle of April by the state's Attorney General. Durden brought in the GBI to investigate on Thursday evening, Reynolds said. The McMichaels were charged with felony murder and aggravated assault charges. Reynolds said that on Friday there will be no hate crime charges. There is no hate crime in Georgia, Reynolds said. Georgia is one of, I think, 4 or 5 states left in the union that does not have any hate crime. I didn't know that, and that's going to be a damn problem. They need to change the local laws in Georgia The fact that they don't have no hate crime laws in Georgia. I don't understand why black people are moving to Atlanta. You're leaving for the fire pan and heading right into the fire. I'm not moving to Georgia. Anyway, the GBI is also investigating who leaked the cell phone video onto social media and threats against the Glenn County Police Department. Arbery, who lived in Brunswick, one town over from where the McMiles reside, was pronounced dead at the same scene by the Glenn County coroner. No weapons were found on him, according to the police report. I'm managing. It's really hard, Arbery's mother told ABC News Thursday. It has been really hard. The outrage is that it has taken more than 2 months for Ahmaud Arbery's executioners to be arrested. But better late than never, Ben Crump, an attorney representing the family, said in a statement. This is the first step to justice. The murderous father and son duo took the law into their own hands. Prior to the pair's release, Cooper Jones told ABC News she believed authorities hadn't taken them into custody because Gregory McMichael had a lengthy career as an investigator in the Brunswick District Attorney's office before recently retiring. I think that they don't feel he was wrong because he was one of them, she said. After the video circulated on social media Tuesday, a large crowd of protesters marched through the neighborhood where Arbery was killed. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations announced Wednesday that it was opening its own probe into the February 23rd incident. Esleen Merritt, one of the attorneys representing Arbery's family, demanded answers Thursday morning and has been immediate arrest of Georgery and Travis McMichael. Prosecutors will need a grand jury in order to formally indict these men, but nothing has to do with actually going out and arresting the men since on camera murdering a 25 unarmed black man, Merritt told ABC News in an interview that aired Thursday or GMA. The prosecutors actually have the option, so if they choose to, directly indictment and skip the entire grand jury process, he added, is something that happens all the time in our legal system, and this will certainly be an appropriate moment. The Michaels attorney did not immediately respond to the ABC News request for comment Wednesday, and the McMichaels themselves did not return phone calls. Arbery would have turned 26 years old Friday. Cooper Jones decided her late son is humble, kind, well-mannered, and beloved by his family and peers. Ahmaud didn't deserve to go the way he went, she said. ABC News' Kelly McCarthy contributed to this report. Yeah, this is not really good at all, man. We got to get the word out and pass this information. And I'm looking at a couple of reports. I'm seeing black militias that's outside with their guns, protecting the Arbery family. This is not good. Alright, so again, excuse the noise in the background. I'm currently quarantined in my house. I'm an essential worker. I'm not able to go to a proper studio and record the broadcast the correct way. I would like to say a couple of things about this case. One, we as black people are really tired of innocent black men and black women being killed and there's no justice. And this is not good. And if the American government does not step up and handle these crimes and start giving us justice, they're going to have to paying us a reparations check out of. They're going to have to start paying us a reparations check. They're going to have to come out of their pocket. They have no choice. And I think these white men think that they can get away with killing this innocent black men because the COVID-19 epidemic is going on, and you got these crazy white people thinking that they could go around and kill innocent black people with impunity because the law and the local police departments all over the country is focusing on enforcing quarantine and focusing on staying inside the house. So thank you for listening to this podcast, and God bless you. God bless America.